Once there was a boy who lived in a village that never truly saw him. He was loud, he was bright, he wore an orange jacket that could be spotted from far away, yet somehow he remained invisible to almost everyone. Every day he laughed louder than the others, smiled wider than anyone else, and shouted his dreams into the open sky with all the strength his small body could hold. People thought he was full of life, they thought he was fearless. But when the sun went down and the streets grew quiet, that same boy walked alone to an old wooden swing at the edge of the village. He sat there for hours with his feet barely touching the ground, staring at nothing. The swing never moved unless he pushed it, and after many lonely evenings he stopped pushing. Around him the world felt like a deep red emptiness, and one heavy word kept repeating in the silence of his mind: suffering. People never noticed the weight he carried. They only saw the energy, the determination, and the endless talk about becoming someone great. What they never saw was the quiet pain that settled on his shoulders when no one was watching. Suffering does not always arrive with tears or loud cries. Sometimes it simply sits beside you, silent and heavy, until you almost forget what it feels like to be light. When the boy was smaller, he used to swing higher and higher, hoping someone would notice and stop to ask if he was okay. No one ever did, so he learned to stop hoping. He learned to live with the silence. He smiled for the village and saved his true face for the swing. Years passed slowly. The boy grew taller, stronger, and more determined with every challenge that came his way. He fought battles that shook the earth beneath his feet. He carried burdens that would have crushed most people. He became the very person he once only dreamed of becoming in those quiet nights on the swing. Yet even then, on certain still evenings, he would return to that same wooden seat. He did not return because he was broken. He returned because he remembered. He remembered the lonely child who sat there believing he would always be alone. And in that memory, he discovered something powerful. He realized that suffering had never been his true enemy. It had been his strictest teacher. Every hour spent in silence had carved patience deep into his heart. Every unanswered hope had built a quiet strength that no technique or power could ever match. The pain that once froze him in place became the very reason he could finally stand tall for others. The swing is still there for many people. The red emptiness still exists for those who feel forgotten. The word suffering still appears in the dark hours when the world feels too heavy to carry. But the boy who once sat motionless eventually stood up. He did not wait for someone else to push the swing for him. He pushed it himself, then he stepped off and he kept walking forward. That is the quiet truth hidden inside every long night of loneliness. Suffering is not the end of the story. It is the difficult chapter that prepares you for the chapters that matter most. If you are sitting on your own swing right now, feeling unseen, feeling the weight of a word you never asked for, know this with certainty. Even the strongest ones sat exactly where you are sitting. Even the brightest ones carried the heaviest in their chest. And still they rose. The swing does not define you. The suffering does not own you. The moment you decide to stand, even with tired legs and a quiet heart, the story begins to change. Your story is still being written and the next page is waiting for you to turn it. The loneliness you feel today can become the strength that carries someone else tomorrow. The silence that once broke you can become the calm that helps you lead. Stand up when you are ready. Take one step, then another. The boy on the swing eventually became a man the whole village looked up to. Not because he never suffered, but because he refused to let suffering have the final word. And so can you.